energy is obviously massive. But this is a new form. It's definitely, I don't know, tucking it or, being inspired by the pouch or the kind of Zin format.
Sure.
Can you talk about that kind of aha moment? Like, how did this come about?
Yeah, I mean, the good news is that, from, like, a business standpoint, is that people love caffeine and they love energy. 85% of Americans consume caffeine every day. It's a part of daily routines and rituals, and yet people wish that there was something better about it. The core unmet needs are that people would like a more trustworthy, cleaner, better for you, some sort of improvement on the quality of the caffeine they consume. People want more convenience, and then people want cheaper options. So those are sort of huge category and some unmet needs. And at the same time, there's been this wave of adoption that I'm sure folks know a lot about, where in another category, in nicotine, there's been a generational shift in how people are consuming it with Zyn and other pouches. And so the business actually originated before I joined, 2.5 years before, from a team of folks who owned a company called TJP, which is the world's best manufacturer of pouches, but saw that there was transferability into a different category. They spent 2 years on the formulation and tons of money. Um, and I joined to really launch it. And what I really was inspired by was the not just the scale of opportunity, and not just even that we make a really good product, but that we could fundamentally, solve consumer needs better than what has been on the market before.
Yeah. So a better solve, i.e., drinking it isn't convenient all the time, or like what really,
Yeah.
yeah,
Like,
talk to me about this need.
so the convenience thing, it is a funny topic, right?
Yeah.
For something that people consume every day. I still have a coffee every morning. My husband has bit of our routine. He wakes up earlier, he brews a pot of coffee, and I love that. But most of us consume caffeine through a liquid.
Mhm.
Yet the convenience issue has a range of frustrations for a sundry product. We hear that athletes don't like drinking liquids and certainly don't like carbonation before they work out or run. That sloshing around or the bloating that happens from the carbonation.
Mhm.
In focus groups, endless focus groups with construction workers, bringing a coffee or a drink onto a job site, they are worried about spills and dust and debris getting in their drink. Like that is a common thing.
Yeah.
And then there's a biological issue that with liquids and a stimulant, you
Yeah.
have to go to the bathroom. And
Yeah.
we hear female runners, we hear e-sport athletes, we hear long haul truckers. That biological issue is a big frustration.
Okay. I buy that. I mean, it's interesting, um, going the kind of category creation route and the behavior change versus, I mean, I guess you've happened on an amazing technology and product, but like pouches versus something like a gummy or
Yeah,
a
I mean, so
candy kind of thing.
sure. I think there've been attempts at different ways to consume caffeine. Um, there is a helpful parallel in, another large consumer category of consumer adoption. So in nicotine, people have adopted it because the product works. There's always efficacy and delight. And people in that category, there's a high efficacy quotient and people really enjoy it.
Mhm.
And I think that with alternatives in caffeine, there's been sort of a range of outcomes on whether it works well from the caffeine, sort of the outcome that you want from it.
Yeah.
And there's a range of outcomes of whether people really enjoy doing it or not. I mean, I have one in right now. I have
Yeah.
our blue raspberry in, and I gotta tell you, it's like a it's a hidden treat that I get to have while I'm talking to you. And, um, and so we're really able to do that. I think that this is a massive shift that's happening in the way people consume. But as you said, product is king. It isn't just that we're a pouch. We happen to make a very good one. We happen to have a distinct formulation that has the ability to have enough caffeine that you can feel the experience of it.
Mhm.
And also we mask the bitterness of caffeine, which is really hard to do, in a way that it tastes great.